So this week's fishing report, we are doing it at the Kingfisher. And the reason is because it is an absolute steamer outside, 35 degrees plus. But it's not a bad thing because today I'm joined with Ray and we are talking about what's been going on our KZN coastline with regards to the fishing. So now, Ray, I've heard up on the lower south coast, my guy Adam, lots of non-edibles. In fact, a ton of non-edibles. So guys, we've been getting hammerheads. There's been lessons. There's been more hammerheads. Hound sharks, gray sharks, a few skates in between.
Yeah.
Now, you also did mention that there were a couple bronze bream. Is it still too early for bronze bream?
It is, but those bronze bream or the bronze bream that sit offshore and then just come in when the temperature drops.
Yeah.
Those bream come from the deeper reefs basically in. So the bream are here most of the year round. It's only when the water gets too warm they actually go out into the deeper water where it's obviously cooler.
Okay, so that explains the bronze bream. Now I've heard there were guys targeting some shad down in the area as well.
Same thing happens. Water gets cold,
yeah.
The shad come in, obviously it gets warm again, they move out into the deeper water.
Okay, cool. So that is the lower south coast. Now moving on to Warner Beach, the Ilovo stretch. Gary told me not too much fishing, but this is the area you live in as
That's
well.
our backyard. Yeah, unfortunately, the water's been very warm in the Memphis, Texas area. There's been the odd little brown skate making its appearance, but other than that, it's been very, very quiet in the Toti area.
Any lessons, any honeys, any diamonds?
Quiet. We've got a northeasterly that's blown for 2 days. This is the third day today.
Yeah.
The sea, unfortunately, because the northeasterly is blowing so hard, they're talking 70 kilometers an hour winds.
Wow.
It's very difficult to fish, but the water temperature is dropping. At the moment, it is dropping. So it's gone from 25 to 23. Hopefully, it'll drop 1 or 2 more degrees today, and then we can start looking for some diamonds. But the sea is big.
Yes.
It is a big wind-driven sea. So it makes holding a sinker very difficult. Obviously, you got to go fish with a grapnel sinker. So once that wind-driven sea basically dissipates tonight, 7 o'clock, that big westerly is going to hit us. Once that westerly hits us and moves through, there should be some fish to be caught basically tomorrow morning and obviously into the evening.
All right. How's it looking for the weekend, though?
Yeah, sea's going to be flat. We're going to have some rain, of course, because of that big west, light rain coming through. But it has and will flatten the sea. So fishing will obviously pick up because more people will be fishing.
Fantastic. Now, moving on into Durban. So Mike V told me there has been some activity over this past week, more so in the basin.
That's correct.
We've seen sandies, we've seen grays.
Sandies and grays, not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but there have been, for the guys that have persevered in the northeasterly, there have been some fish around.
Okay.
And there have been some little grunter up at the Mgeni area. So
that's at Sunkist Beach, right?
Sunkist Beach.
Laguna Beach, Sunkist Beach.
That is correct.
And was some activity at Blue Lagoon over this past week? I mean, not necessarily just fine few, though. Nothing.
There was quite a bit of snook earlier on in the week.
Oh, yeah, the offshore has been going wild with snook from what I've heard.
Snook and small kuta, those 10 kilo, 8 kilo kuta, and amongst them as well.
Brad mentioned there was a couple Dorado also out quite deep. Yeah.
But like I say, the sea has got a bit up. Northeasterly's been blowing, so the guys aren't fishing too much at the moment.
All right, cool. And then our Durban Harbour grunters on the bite.
Yes. Grunter, Walla Walla have come thick again on the pier side. Yes, keeping a bait in the water long enough has been very challenging. Yeah. There have been some kingies around for the guys throwing paddle tails. So there is some fish activity in the harbour.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of packets, a lot of debris still from the big floods that we've had and rain that we've had.
Okay.
But if you can work through it, there is a bite to be had there.
All right, cool. Yeah, I did hear the cob and snapper salmon.
That's correct.
That was a bit slower. The guys did get 1 or 2, but nothing too crazy out there.
That's correct.
Good morning, Venetian all anglers. It is the 15th of February, day after Valentine's Day. As you can see, I'm alive here at Tongaat Rivermouth with a nice northeaster blowing, skipping the ocean, but flat. Sea conditions looking perfect. I think once this wind dies down, there's a couple of anglers, but nothing has come out as yet. So guys, keep those rods bending from this side part and back over now.
And guys, moving up to the North Coast, we wish Jesse all the best because he's suffering with tick bites. I didn't get a report from him. However, Savika did mention there has been some sandies up in the Zinkwazi area, Tugela area as well. So they did get a couple sandies, a couple of diamonds over this past week or weekend. So did you hear anything about the North Coast?
Definitely, there's been quite a few fish up at Umtanzini. Not a lot.
Yeah.
There's been a sprinkling of honeycombs and sandies. Obviously, the water's been warm.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they did get a few diamonds, and I'm talking 2s and 3s in that Umtanzini area. But today is the day to fish for them. This afternoon into the evening, obviously with that west coming, that northeaster is going to make the water a lot dirtier and a lot cooler. So tonight is the night to fish for the diamonds or butterfly rays up at Umtanzini. I don't think you're going to be able to fish second stream and first stream too much because that ground-driven swell is going to push you. It's going to make life very difficult to fish with a grapple sinker. So the current's going to push a bit much. But if you come into the bay there at Shangri-La, I'm sure those diamonds are going to stack up there.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, tell me while we're talking about this, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to wonder, okay, the west is coming through at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of easterlies, right? Why do we want to fish just before that west? What's going to happen?
Basically, it's a change in barometer is basically going to drop down to, if I remember correctly, 999. And then as the west comes, the barometer is going to go up. So it's always best before the west.
I like that. Best before the west.
Best before the west. We always seem to catch fish before the west.
Yeah.
And anytime from 4 o'clock this afternoon onwards, there's going to be a bite, whether it's be on the Durban beachfront area or Umtanzini, anywhere where you can hold a bait, you will get a bite this afternoon. That's definitely one of the better days to fish if you look at what's coming for the next week or so. So yeah, today is the day to fish, guys.
Ah, fantastic. Now, guys, as you know, you may be watching this recording slightly afterwards, so always remember you can get the fresh reports off our WhatsApp channel. So search on your WhatsApp channel for Angler News. You will find that update as I'm talking to Ray right now. However, if you're watching this post-production, it might be slightly too late. So once again, make sure to check out our WhatsApp channel. Now, going up to Richards Bay and St. Lucia, I know what's going on the offshore side. What have you heard on the Rocket
There's
Show
been
side?
quite a few fish there. That's been the hotspot for our flatfish, our honeycombs and sandies.
Yeah.
Obviously, the weather has been a lot more fish happy, if I can call it that way. The guys that have been fishing up there have been getting bites, and they've been fishing obviously a lot longer. The water obviously is more stable up there as far as the temperature goes. And the flatfish, honeycomb, sandies, blackfin, they're used to that warmer water. So yeah, there's been
already having all the bragging rights.
That's what's nice about living up there. But don't worry, when it gets to winter, we have the bragging rights.
There we go.
So yes,
guys, on the offshore side, out of Richards Bay and St. Lucia, lots of kuta, right? There's been plenty kuta coming out. The week before, the week before we had a lot of tuna, but that seemed to have switched to the dories. And of course, that kuta is looking very good. And of course, I've got some reports of some bullfish being on the bite, but that's more up in the Sodwana. Yeah, there's
been some lovely bullfish up there in the Sodwana.
Yeah, and that's due to this warm water, right? Warm climate, it is that time of the year that's expected. Now, moving on to the freshwater side of KZN, I've got a report from Jan that came through this morning where river action is on fire, and that is with your rainbows, with your browns, good river action. Right, but the still waters has been a bit quiet. As for the bass, Albert Falls, Midmar performing fantastically well. Sterffontein, yellowfish, smallmouth yellows on dry fly.
And carp.
And the carp as well.
Yeah, okay. Carp as well.
Yeah. So guys, that's what's been going on the freshwater side. Now, Jan is away. He's going to be targeting Granta on fly down in the Eastern Cape. So big up to Jan. Wish you all the best. We can't wait to see that footage next week when you get back. So, yeah, Ray, what's the predictions after 10 o'clock tonight? We know we're going to get fish before 10. What do you say for the KZN anglers fishing into Friday, this weekend? What can we expect?
Lovely. Basically, if we're looking at, I'm just going to take Durban as an example. After the westerly, the sea will flatten. It will start to become cleaner. The honeycombs should start turning on in the the next 2-3 days. They like a flatter, calmer sea. And of course, the sandies as well. They don't like a very rough, churning sea. So the flatfish should start turning on. As far as edibles go,
Yeah, I was
not
going to
too
ask you.
much
We
gonna
chatted about
happen.
that last week. and
Not
so
too much
this
going to
is the
happen.
season for non-heads.
No, it's not near the time at
Yeah.
this time. And if you look at the long-term forecast, so going into Wednesday, from Thursday onwards, we start getting our northeasterly pattern coming in. Thursday, Friday, Saturday coming up
This is next.
next
Yeah.
week. So yeah.
So once again,
yeah,
going into
we're going
non-heads.
back into non-heads, and it's starting to look good for that.
All right.
So we just hope our weather pattern stays as what the weatherman forecasts, and he's never ever right. So yeah, we try our best. That's all we can do. We can only predict what we see.
Well, that's what this report is about. It's a forecast. It's a good, honest report of what's been going on, what we've heard of. And yeah, we wish you all the best. Until next week, guys, when you are out there, always remember, keep that fishing area tidy, respect your bag limits, and fish for the future. But before you get out there fishing for that future, make sure to pop on down to the Kingfisher. Guys, these are the sponsors of our show, so big up to them. Thank you to the Kingfisher, all their branches around KZN. Thank you to Ray for joining us on the show. Guys, we'll see you next week.